Welcome to Bad Gear, the show about the world's most hated audio tools. Believe it or not, we haven't had a piece of Roland gear on the channel for over a month, and I'm already getting serious withdrawal symptoms. No need to worry, I consider it very unlikely that we will ever run out of controversial Roland gear, and the fix for today is the Phrase Lab MC-09. This 2002 synth, groovebox and looper is one of the more obscure instruments carrying the infamous MC moniker. Being released in the same year as the flagship MC-09, it wasn't intended to be a full-fledged production environment. This being said, it is hard to say what the MC-09 actually is. A digital monophonic acid Frankenstein with a few added features.
That's Frankenstein.
A looper with a virtual analog synth and drum machine cherry on top. Let's take a closer look. At the first glance, the Roland Phrase Lab MC-09 is ticking all the boxes. Classic pseudo-retro Y2K design that looks best when it's a little filthy, a Terminator eyeball buried deep inside the unit, a slot for smart media cards which I, to be honest, didn't miss much over the last 10 years, 5-pin MIDI I/O and RCAs for audio. The unit seems well structured, but you know, looks can be deceiving. One might assume that the FX, synth and drum voices can be used at the same time, which is not the case. The monophonic lead and bass section is more versatile than expected, but you have to memorize a number of keystroke combinations for in-depth tweaking or simply choose one of the tone presets, which include, for example, the mellow acid, the dirty acid, and the weird acid. I was disappointed with the rhythm section though. The 10 untweakable kits consisting of kick, snare and hi-hat most certainly won't replace your favorite TR drum machine. Not unlike many other Roland groove instruments, the MC-09 offers a usable, albeit a bit fiddly sequencer. Tie, slide, accent, one water please. External sources and the output of the synth section can be recorded and arranged using the 4-track looper, which is syncable and restricted to loops shorter than 6 seconds. Sample loading and saving times are long enough for some grocery shopping. Loop control allows you to play sample 1 chromatically, trigger the samples using the sequencer buttons, and chop them up MPC style. You can bounce multiple tracks to one, just like the Beatles. The Edit One function is, well you guessed it, for editing pitch, starting point and length of loop 1. As we are talking about a more or less vintage Roland product, the user manual is paradoxical. You will need it, but it won't help you much. Build quality is surprisingly good and the used market for MC-09s is inherently broken. So I want to take the opportunity to thank Max of the A-Sound sound system from Berlin for sending me this unit. The Roland Phrase Lab MC-09 seems like a fun little tool for live jams and electronic music production. Will Uli Behringer release a clone anytime soon? You have already heard the Roland Phrase Lab MC-09 in our little intro tune. Maybe not your weapon of choice if you are in the YouTube channel theme song business. Let's find out if it can scratch our dirty old school acid itch. This is a mixed bag. The VA synth itself is actually pretty nice. Not high-end, but it's an interesting take on the whole TB monosynth thing and certainly got some character. I'm not a big fan of the drum section. The tones are missing punch and depth, I didn't find a way to tweak them, and a tom, clap or cymbal sound would come in handy. Having faders for the loop volume is cool, but I've seen more streamlined user interfaces. I wanna dig a little deeper in this drum and bass workflow study. I have to admit that I really had to practice for that. Switching between the modes can be tricky during a jam, and there are a lot of unnecessary steps to get essential things done. I do like the crunchy sound of the looper though. The Phrase Lab is capable of subtle tones too, but this review would not be complete without this The Surgeon General Warns H2SO4 Urban Decay Warehouse Generator Party Public Nuisance. Verdict. When it comes to proper bad gear, Roland never fails to deliver. I could probably run a dedicated channel focused on instruments created by the iconic manufacturer only, and the MC-09 doesn't disappoint either. Of course, there are better 303 emulations, more powerful loopers, and the UI is all over the place, but it is unique in its brash sound and early 0 years quirkiness. That being said, I'm not sure if all this justifies the time and effort you have to put in. The MC-09 is one of the pieces of gear you either don't care about at all or fall in love at the first sight. If the latter applies to you, minor issues like the horrendous prices, strange UI or unnecessary learning curve don't matter anyway. The Phrase Lab might not be everyone's cup of tea, but let's take a moment to appreciate the unconventional beauty of Roland's final repository for obsolete 90s technologies. Thanks for watching and see you next time! Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, become a patron and leave a comment what other kind of gear you would like to see and hear on the show.